GM, G Brew, G Espresso. Welcome to Espresso Community Call number 7. I'm joined as usual by Whit and Avery. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Avery is our incredible chief of staff, which means she basically runs everything at Espresso. Whit runs marketing. We're missing Shawnee today, who's our community lead. She is over at Token in Singapore. We miss you, Shawnee, but it's like 1 a.m. or something for you. So fair enough that you're not here. Shout out, by the way, to all of the Asia folks who tune in to our community calls, because for those of us based in other parts of the world, like it makes us realize, okay, it's the middle of the night for you. So yeah, you showing up means a lot. We've got an action-packed agenda. We're going to be joined by Spencer from ApeChain for the Apes Among Us. So really excited about that. We are sharing some details about a little giveaway that we're doing. I'll let Avery share more in her career recap, but Espresso has created what we call brewies, little plushy espresso dolls, a little bit like Labubus, if you've been following that trend. I call them Labrew brews, but I don't know, that hasn't caught on. So brewies it is. That giveaway is going to take place on Twitter later today. But again, we'll share some more details and tell you what to look out for as we go here. So really excited for all of you to be joining us and excited to dive in. Avery, Whit, how are you guys doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
Hey.
Ooh, what's that? What happened?
I'm so sorry. Technical difficulties.
I'm just entering full screen mode. But yeah, Whit, how's your day going?
Oh, so far so good. It's 11 a.m. for me, so definitely not an evening.
Not the middle of the night.
I have not the middle of the night. Though I have been up in the middle of the night the last 2 nights speaking to people in Asia, so I definitely still get the, get the time zone. It's crypto's a global industry, so
yeah.
Avery, you just got back from Korea. Is your body time adjusted yet?
Just now. It's been almost 5 days, and I'm finally adjusted. Props to everyone who travels to all of these different conferences nonstop.
Yeah, the conference is crazy. It's crazy.
It's been super fun though.
I'm just looking in the comments. Whit, this is a good one. Maybe we can give a brief update because I know you've been working in Discord to create a role for composable holders, but it's actually really challenging to create a role that is verifiable based on possession of an NFT. Somehow, after 10 years of Web3, this is something that still does not exist. So if anyone has any suggestions on tooling to use that is going to be able to allow us to do just automatic verification in Discord of addresses and ownership, let us know, because we would like to create a role in Discord for all of our composable holders.
Yeah, and to be clear, there's obviously the tools out there and exist. People will be familiar with Vulkan and Collab Land, which are kind of these Discord bots that do enable this. The problem is that in a world of multiple, infinite rollups, these tools have to, be integrating with each specific rollup. So RariChain being relatively new, none of these major players support RariChain yet. So we've been stuck trying to either build our own bot or figure out how to, do it in another way. So that's why all the delays.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that update, Whit. So yeah, specifically, it's the RariChain issue, finding anyone who finding a set of tools that will support RariChain. But I can attest Whit has been putting in a lot of time and effort to that. So you composable holders, we are working on it. All right, let's jump in. Avery, if you can go to the next slide. Awesome. So I want to emphasize the Espresso community is a space for builders, for researchers, contributors. So whether you're a content creator, whether you are a developer, curious minds to collaborate in building a universal base layer to make all chains work together as one. because coffee brings people together. And that's what Espresso is about, is bringing different chains together, bringing different people together across the globe, different types of people, different vested interests to build this unification layer. Awesome. And yeah, you all know this, you know the drill. Zero tolerance of harmful behavior. If we see any threats, harassment, any form of violence, hateful speech, discriminatory behavior, doxing, stalking, bullying, coercion, don't do it. That has no place here. Don't do it in general, but definitely don't do it in the Espresso community. You will be given the boot. And please hold each other to be accountable on this as well. Let's keep it positive. And yeah, what do we want to see? We want to see people contributing. We want to see people contributing with integrity. What do we mean by that? Show support, be genuinely curious about Espresso and the tech. We don't expect you to know everything. Ask questions, get involved, roll up your sleeves, promote rigorous and thoughtful contribution. And yeah, of course, uphold community norms as well. If you see bad behavior, toxic behavior, people bullying, whatever, flag it. Of course, assume the best of intentions. Again, we're a global community. Like, people are going to have different norms. People are going to have, language barriers, all kinds of things, but hold each other accountable. Yes, Espresso fam, only positive vibes. Yeah, treat everyone with respect. And again, contribute, be curious. That's what we're here for. That's what it's all about. Okay, again, we've got an action-packed agenda. I'm going to quickly run through the Espresso vision. Whit's going to talk to us a little bit about our integration updates. We've had 3 new chains go live on Espresso in the last month. We might have 2 going live today, actually, which is pretty cool. We've got ApeChain live on testnet and mainnet soon, TM. We're going to be joined by Spencer from ApeChain. I think one of the most vibrant, cool communities in crypto, period. They've got so much cool stuff that they're cooking up. We're going to get into all of it. Avery's going to give us a Korea recap. Shout out to the Koreans among us. We love you. You guys really brought the energy. We're going to talk about a contest that we're running alongside ApeChain. Give a little update on the Caffeinated Creators program, our community spotlight as always, and a sneak peek of our plans for Argentina Dev Connect later this year. Okay, what is Espresso, though? It is a permissionless platform specifically designed to support billions of users and trillions of assets. We want to see the entire global economy come on chain and do so not in a way that's permissioned, not in a way that relies on like a bunch of, little cabals or like multi-sigs, what we call them sort of technically. We want it to be a truly permissionless platform that anyone can use, everyone can access, and anyone can build upon. All right, so what does that take? What does it look like to be able to support the whole global economy? That's crazy. It takes scale. So this one's pretty intuitive, right? We need to be able to support millions, billions of transactions every day. We need to be able to support what Visa and MasterCard and NASDAQ and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange and all of these different venues across the world, we need to be able to support what they do. And that's a really hard technology problem. Number 2, we need to be able to support customizability, okay? Not every app is going to have the same needs. So we need to be able to support customizability across different applications that are building on this base layer. And we'll get into what rollups are. That's what chains are all about. And finally, we need to be able to support security, okay? This is your money. This is your data. Like, we can't just be, putting stuff out there willy-nilly. We have to make sure that it's going to be secure and sound and is not going to go down and is not going to be able to, be taken advantage of by bad actors. Okay, so we call, in a kind of a more technical audience, we call Espresso a base layer purpose-built for rollups. For those of you who don't know, going back a few years now, Ethereum had huge scaling issues. It's so cool. It's one of the most permissionless platforms ever created. Ethereum has done an amazing job of bringing a ton of assets onto blockchains and making them more programmable, making them more accessible to people, but it wasn't scaling, okay? It was slow, it was clunky, it was super expensive to use because it was so crowded. Too many people wanted to get into the Ethereum party all at once, and so prices went up, wait times were long, all of this stuff. So Ethereum started scaling by using rollups. And again, rollups are a really cool scaling solution. They allow different applications to work in parallel instead of all crowding into the same party. Each application gets its own room to have a party in and can accommodate a lot more people and a lot more activity. And rollups are super customizable. So you can build rollups in whatever way, fashion you want. You can make different design choices from your next door neighbor. And so Espresso, Ethereum kind of pioneered this, and that's really awesome. And we're super grateful for that. But Ethereum fundamentally wasn't built for rollups. So Ethereum still has like really long wait times, which makes it really hard for these rollups and chains to work together and to interoperate between them. And so, at Espresso, we've kind of taken that concept and from the ground up said, okay, what does it look like if we build something from the beginning fit for purpose to support rollups? So that's how we achieve the scale, the customizability, and the security that we're talking about. I love this animation. Shawnee always crushes it with this. We miss you, Hank. So I've touched on a bunch of this already, but again, speed and security, that goes without saying. That's just what we need to be on the internet today. If things are taking 15 minutes to load, you're not going to use it. If things are not secure, you're not going to use it. But that's what too much of crypto and Web3 looks like today. And I think that that's a big reason why why crypto doesn't have the best name all the time. Composability is also really important. What does this mean? This means this interoperability thing that I'm talking about, where these different apps, these different chains should be able to talk to each other in real time. It does us no good to be able to have all of this scale if they can't interoperate. That's a huge part of the value prop of it. Customizability, I talked about already, and compatibility. This one is crucial. We're not trying to reinvent the whole wheel here. We're compatible with Ethereum. We're compatible with all of these different customizations that different applications have made. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that with ApeChain a little later in the call, because ApeChain has been one of the most thoughtful partners in terms of the way that they're designing and architecting their whole experience for users. I think it's part of their success. And yeah, Espresso, because we've designed it to be super compatible, can just slot right in with all of the decisions that they've made. Cool. Okay, so Espresso is about 80 contributors around the world. Maybe half of those are full-time, and then the other half of them are kind of more general contributors, whether there are node operators or designers or things like this. We've got about 20 chains working with Espresso, roughly half of which are live with us, either on testnet or mainnet, and most of which are going to be on mainnet actually in the next week and a half, which I'm really excited about. Espresso has the most amazing supporters and backers. So we have investors like Andreessen Horowitz, Electric Capital, and others who've trusted us to build this vision. And then we've got about 6 bridges who are committed to using Espresso. So this is going to make them safer, faster, all kinds of things for their users. And yeah, I won't run through everything on this, but coming up this quarter is going to be our mainnet 1.0 upgrade. That's the thing right smack in the middle here, Q4 2025. And this is going to be the permissionless proof of stake launch. And I am so excited for this. This is a huge part of what we've been building towards, but it's also just the starting line. This is really going to be the moment where we become that permissionless system and we embrace that kind of full decentralized ethos of crypto, but without sacrificing any of the amazing user experience that we've been offering to these applications, these chains, and their users. That was initially slated for the summer, but we decided that we wanted to create opportunities for more and more people to get involved along the way. We've been pretty much engineering ready to push this upgrade for the last few weeks, which is really exciting. And so, yeah, we're on the brink. I see a really good question here. The question about how this is different from services like Caldera. Caldera is one of our most important partners. We love the people at Caldera. We're in communication with them. We're on the phone with them all day long. We work really closely with them. We support a bunch of the same chains. Espresso offers those apps, those chains, one set of services. Basically, we offer them really fast transaction confirmations. We offer them really robust and resilient data storage effectively. And so, we work with those chains in certain ways. And then Caldera offers them a different set of services, right? And even what Caldera is doing in interop, it's very compatible with Espresso. And so we work really closely together. Happy to get deeper into that. Whit can go deeper during the Q&A. Cool. And with that, Whit is up. Sorry, I took a long time on that, but it's important and I'm excited. Whit is going to cover our integration updates because we've got a couple new chains live on mainnet. We've got a whole bunch live on testnet. And I think we have 2 going live today, which is sick. Okay, Whit, take it away.
Yeah. No, thanks for the intro. That was all, very important, as you said. And good questions from the audience as well. Integration, we are, constantly introducing and onboarding new rollups. We have a pretty packed pipeline, and this is has been a busy period. So we have 2 new rollups live on mainnet since the last community call, only one of which we've actually announced publicly. So Turn is an Arbitrum Orbit chain that is kind of a shared execution layer using Espresso. We did announce that a few weeks ago. They are now live on mainnet, benefiting from fast finality, and also the composability benefits, given that they're also working on kind of shared execution, which is inherently kind of cross-chain functionality. NodeOps, they are also live on mainnet, and we this is just a little sneak peek. We won't actually be publicly announcing until Tuesday, but I'll give the community call audience a little sneak peek. They are also an Arbitrum Orbit chain, and they are a DPIN kind of marketplace for cloud computing. You might be familiar with NodeOps for their kind of their node. Their node services, in the crypto space. They launched a roll-up NodeOps network to kind of support this DPIN marketplace. And so they will be, they are now also benefiting from fast finality from the Espresso network. And we have some fun stuff planned with them. And then as Jill mentioned, a couple new testnet ones, rollups on testnet, which are scheduled to be live on mainnet today, but we will not announce those. But those are Rufus and Huddle 01. So you'll hear more about those in the coming weeks. And obviously, Avery, if you want to go to the next slide, the big one we announced this week live on testnet that we're very excited about is ApeChain. And I think we can bring Spencer up on stage now if he's ready, and we can continue the little conversation that Jill and Spencer will lead.
Spencer.
Hey, GM
Spencer,
Yep.
Thank you for joining us here. Here we say G Espresso.
Espresso. We can do that.
I kind of hate it, but it's okay. It's what's come up. I tried to make G Brew happen, and the community did not like that. Yeah, G Espresso. It is. Okay, I am so excited Spencer is joining us. One of the great joys of working at Espresso is that you get to meet all of these amazing people from like all over the ecosystem. And Spencer, I don't have favorites, but Spencer is one of my favorite. Spencer, you just have amazing energy. You are super thoughtful about all things community related, product related. Again, like the amount of thought that's gone into constructing the ApeChain stack and all of the amazing partners that you have in the technology side of it. It's just like it really sets the standard, I think. And so, yeah, I would love, can you just intro yourself a little bit and also give a little bit of background on ApeChain for those that may not know it, although you guys should all know ApeChain. So if you don't, go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Spencer, which everybody's figured out by now. I lead partnerships in BD for ApeChain and ApeCoin. I work for a company called ApeCo, which is semi-related to Yuga Labs and the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And, before I get into that a little bit, my background is both, long-term from kind of always being on the cutting edge of tech. I worked in 3D printing for a long time. I ran a marketing agency for a long time as well. So I've done a whole bunch of different things. But, on the crypto side, I was doing a lot of sort of things on the ZK proof side and the ZK side generally. And at some point, I got involved in ApeCoin and the creation of ApeChain and decided that, this is really where my heart is. And so came over here and, have been doing that since. And
how did that happen, Spencer? I actually don't even know your backstory of like ApeChain specifically.
Yeah, so I used to work at a company called Horizon Labs, which does a lot of zero knowledge stuff through Horizon ZK Verify and a couple of other things. And by just total happenstance and sort of partners in common, they were a launch partner in terms of ApeCoin. And it was like a bit of a different regulatory environment then, so you needed some more separation between parties. And so they ended up with a lot of ApeCoin at the time and weren't really necessarily doing anything with it. We're kind of on the sidelines. And, at some point, there was kind of a push to have a bit more corporate involvement in what was the ApeCoin DAO at that point. And, so I kind of raised my hand and said, well, I'm super interested in kind of leading a lot of these efforts if I can. And, the idea was that we were going to, kind of improve our reputation in there, do a couple of small things, and then things just moved really quickly. And there was this desire to have a chain for apes. And, we kind of got tasked with talking to the different parties and the different roll-up providers and things like that. Became very close with the Arbitrum team and the Off-Chain Labs team, and ended up working with them really closely on the proposal to make ApeChain and Arbitrum Orbit Chain. And then that kind of got more and more and more. And at some point, I was just kind of splitting my time, and it felt a little bit unfair to everyone. And, I chose Monkey JPEGs over ZK proofs. So,
yes, love it.
And
that's an amazing backstory, Spencer. Yeah. And I feel like very relatable, probably very relatable for a lot of our audience of just like, you're working on one area of the industry or getting involved in one area of the industry that you're passionate about. And then sort of a series of events, maybe involving an airdrop or whatever, kind of like leads you down this other rabbit hole. And yeah, you discover your true passion is monkey JPEGs. I am all about it. I see a bunch of folks in the chat saying like, oh yeah, like I've used ApeChain. I use it for minting NFTs. Can you talk a little bit about like right now the vision for ApeChain and the goals? I know I always refer to it as the home of NFTs, but yeah, talk a little bit about what you guys are cooking up and what the end goals are right now.
Yeah, and so you're right. ApeChain is the home for NFTs. 100% front and center in a lot of ways. At its core, as I mentioned, ApeChain's an Arbitrum Orbit chain. It is designed for a couple of things. One is to be an ideal place for creators and collectors, and we've had a lot of really, really awesome creators and collections and communities sprout up from that. It's also designed to be kind of one of the first step of many in giving ApeCoin a lot more utility. So ApeCoin is used as gas on ApeChain, which was a big step for us because ApeCoin originally was kind of just sitting out there as a coin just on mainnet. And it also is the home to the other side, and the home to the metaverse. And, the other side is something where, if you haven't checked it out in kind of a few years or you're not familiar with it, that's a product from Yuga Labs. It's a really incredible kind of metaverse product that allows people to plug in, NFTs, not just, Bored Apes and Mutant Apes, but a lot of others from across different chains as well. Quirkies is one that just came on and is available there, as well as a lot of collections that are on ApeChain, whether those be G's or Foxy Fam or any of the others. And there's an open source development kit for that for people to build their own, experiences within the metaverse. And that's a huge part of it as well. So yeah, NFTs, metaverse, it's a piece of opinionated block space, to use, the sort of technical term of it. And that's what we're building there. And Perfect. It also goes hand in hand with, I'm sure, what we're going to talk about today, which is, having ApeCoin be a truly sort of multi-chain token, as well as having ApeChain be reaching and collaborating with people too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so let's get into that. But love the summary of NFTs, metaverse, both of those things. ApeChain is going to be your home for it. I love the phrase opinionated block space. For those of you who are maybe a little bit less deep in the weeds on this stuff who are tuning in here, what that's referring to is the customizability element that I was talking about a few minutes ago. So again, like Spencer and his team have customized ApeChain to a really deep extent to be able to deliver the best experience for developers and for users in the NFT and the metaverse space. Espresso is super grateful and proud to be a part of that. At Espresso, we talk about okay, there's people who are in it for the culture, and then there's people who are in it for the tech. One thing I love about you, Spencer, is you are definitely in it for both the culture and the tech. But let's get to the tech just for a second here. So you guys have been doing a whole bunch of things on interop and having ApeCoin live on different chains. Can you, ignoring Espresso even for a second, we'll get to that in a second, can you talk a little bit about the other initiatives that you guys have going? And then again, we'll talk about how Espresso fits into all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of our big initiatives right now is something called Project Raid. And Project Raid's mission statement is a couple fold. It's, one, the quote unquote hyper financialization of ApeCoin, and getting it into as many, protocols and as many use cases as possible. But the other big parts of it are bringing ApeCoin to where people are and making it a lot more accessible. As I mentioned before, traditionally ApeCoin was only available on ETH mainnet and centralized exchanges. It's been available on ApeChain and Arbitrum for the last year. We've brought it to Solana with the help of our other friends at Layer Zero. We've brought it to Hyper EVM as well. There are, at least 2 more chains in the short term in the next month that it will appear on, without giving away too much alpha there. But the idea is to make sure that ApeChain and ApeCoin are both really connected to the meta, of everything that's going on, and that we're both in the biggest ecosystems. So obviously we love Ethereum. Bored Apes are on Ethereum. ApeCoin is an Ethereum aligned token ecosystem. But there are a lot of apes who are Solana maxings and otherwise would not be holding ApeCoin because they're not doing things on Ethereum, or they may want to do things on both. And what we found is, as we're placing ApeCoin into these other ecosystems, it doesn't detract or cannibalize the ApeChain audience. It adds to it. Because if there's another point to access, we end up getting more unique addresses on ApeChain. People discover ApeChain NFT collections. They discover the advances in what's happening with other side. And it's, awesome from that kind of perspective. So, that's kind of the big push right now. Also, just getting more on-ramps, getting more bridge support, just making sure that you can get ApeCoin anywhere, and that if you're interested in DeFi and those things that, or some of the more, there's casino-fi and things like that on ApeChain as well, and I don't want to discount them. Some of it was really great, actually. But, whatever you want to do, if there are things you want to do in the Solana ecosystem, you can use Ape for that. If there are things you want to do in the Hyper EVM ecosystem, you can use Ape for that, or in the Arbitrum ecosystem. And it's just about getting it everywhere and bringing as many eyeballs as we can, as many people into the community. And
I love it. I think that that's like a really great perspective. And I think that that is spot on in terms of just looking at the space and having what some people would call like an abundance mindset about it, as opposed to scarcity, where, a scarcity approach would be like, okay, like this is my little part of the world and I need to protect it from anyone else coming in and taking away from it. Instead, looking at the whole ecosystem and even outside of the crypto ecosystem and just saying like, all right, the world is huge. There's a lot of abundance here. Like, how do we pull more people in? And I really do think that connections, like connecting across different chains, whether it's different like layer ones like Solana and Ethereum and Hyperliquid and all of these things, or across different chains and rollups within Ethereum. So ApeChain is one of the like premier flagship chains or rollups within the Ethereum ecosystem. I think that that's spot on, and that's how we grow, and that benefits everyone actually at the end of the day. And that's very much, I joked earlier, like a tagline we're kind of playing with and using internally is like, coffee brings people together. And that does feel like spot on. That's a big part of what our tech is designed for. It's designed to have really fast transaction confirmations so that all of these different apps and chains can build off of them and interoperate seamlessly. Spencer, if you can, I would love if you could just tell a little bit of the story of like, how did you first come across Espresso? Who did you meet from the team first? Most of the community knows kind of like the various characters on our team. And yeah, what sold you on working with us?
Yeah, I think we had been like sort of in contact for a long time before we decided to do anything together. I know that there were a couple of connections between the folks when I was at Horizon and Erica, who now is at Sequence, which is another great organization. I think had been friendly with you all as well. And we had kind of gone back and forth, and we were looking for solutions to a number of different things. And AJ at Arbitrum, who leads ecosystem over there and is obviously a legend in his own right, had messaged me and had noted like, you really should sit down and figure out how you guys can work together, because a lot of the things that we've been talking about, this is really the solution for a lot of kind of what you guys are trying to do in terms of composability, and in terms of being able to have that kind of ecosystem that you want to do. So, I think it's one of those things, which is true of a lot of stuff in this industry, which is that you stay in touch and you kind of have these touch points over a long time, and then you end up moving pretty quickly,
Totally.
when the opportunity arises. And I think that's basically the backstory, right?
Yeah.
For how things kind of came together.
Yeah. And one thing that we have coming up together that I'm super excited about, we've had this in the works for a good few months now. We want to make sure that it's going to be the best product experience for everyone, is this cross-chain NFT minting experience. And so again, ApeChain, the home of NFTs, really important, obviously, application of the platform that you guys have built. And today, it can be for anyone, for any chain, it can be an experience that has some friction to it if you want to mint an NFT on a new chain, right? Like you have to bridge funds over, you got to get your funds in there, you got to make sure you have enough gas to bridge the funds, you got to pick the right bridge. So they're not all created equal. Some bridges are a little sketchy, some are very secure. Get your funds over there. You probably left some dust, like some pennies on the other chain that you're just never going to see again, let's be honest, and that can add up real quick. Then you mint your NFT on that chain, which is awesome. But then you're like kind of just in that ecosystem for life. And then it's really hard, right, to like move your NFT to another chain. And these are all types of things that Espresso is solving. And so, yeah, one of our first kind of showcases of Espresso in action is going to be a cross-chain NFT mint on ApeChain, coming to you this fall in the next few months. We'll release more details about the timeline of that when it's ready. Big blocker is going to be audits. Like, we got to make sure this thing is secure. So that's always the big uncertainty for those of you wondering when this is coming. But we are so excited about this. Obviously, in the last couple of weeks, ApeChain has gone live on our Decaf testnet, and it's coming to mainnet in a matter of days, any minute now. And we're so excited about that. So that's something that's coming up. Community, take note, stay tuned for all of that. But in the meantime, Spencer, if there's folks in our community who maybe have heard of ApeChain but haven't used it yet, like what's happening on ApeChain today that you would tell people, like, come check it out, play with it, get involved? What are some of those things that people don't have to wait for?
Yeah, so, I think that ApeChain, one is you should go to launch.otherside.xyz and check that out. You do not need a Bored Ape or a Mutant Ape. You actually don't need any of the associated NFT collections to just jump in there and play with it. It becomes a lot more fun if you're, repping one of them, obviously. But that's one thing that I would encourage everybody to kind of go and look at. I would also say that it's worth going through, Magic Eden, OpenSea, any of our other great partners there, and taking a look at a lot of the different collections that are on ApeChain. There's some really, really awesome communities there. And I think if collecting NFTs is something that you're thinking about getting into or getting back into, you'll have a great time on ApeChain. Just the fact that, the gas prices are lower than on mainnet, right? The price points are obviously a bit lower, but they're sustainable, so things do hold value, which I think is important, because there's a ton of volume there, obviously as well, and whether that be G's or token gators or, monkeys or zards or any of the other really, really great communities. Those are things that you can kind of get involved with and do today. And a lot of those have, games and apps and experiences associated with them, which are great too. If you want to play around on ApeChain generally, there's obviously a lot of other more degen things to do too, whether that be Clutch, which is a great platform, which lets you do parlay predictions. So, you can bet on the price of eggs and whether the Yankees or the Red Sox will win, tonight at the same time, things like that, which is cool. And Gains is on there as well for perps. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that's there today. That's great, but really, the core of it, other side, NFTs, and all of that. And yeah, I mean, those are really kind of the big things that are going on today. And there's more and more coming, obviously.
Awesome. There's a whole world to be discovered on ApeChain. We will take some of those things and write it up in a little recap and post it to Twitter for our community to be able to go in easily and engage. All right, with there, I'm getting pinged from the rest of the team that we got to keep it moving. But Spencer, thank you so much. I could talk to you all day, as you know.
And,
appreciate you joining.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate the time, and ApeChain on top, Espresso on top, and let's go.
Let's go. Thanks, Spencer.
Thank you so much. We also this is a good opportunity. We're going to do our POAP right now, and what's great is actually POAP supports ApeChain. So this POAP is minted on ApeChain.
Hell yeah!
And it is the POAP itself is one that came from our community. We had a little Discord contest, not ApeChain specific POAP, unfortunately. Maybe we'll make one of those, but this is just a community call one. So get your POAP app out, tap
Get
mint,
ready.
tap secret word, and write ApeChain dash Decaf, DECAF. I'll put it in the chat. Dash Espresso.
Hell yeah!
And that is, but there are more than 1,000 people right now apparently viewing, and there's only 359 POAPs.
Grab your POAP. It might help you win one of our Brewy LeBrew plushies shipped to you wherever you are in the world.
And again, this POAP is minted on ApeChain.
Minted on ApeChain, the home of NFTs. We love it.
There is no link. It is a secret word. I'll put it in here. ApeChain Decaf Espresso. And okay, we can move on now. Yeah, there you go. Put that up, Avery. That's fine. What's the next slide?
Okay, cool. Just making these transitions here. Next slide is me. I'm going to do a really quick, I'll try to keep it quick, KBW recap. It was a 1 week, but a really long week. We did a lot during this time. So I'm holding my LeBrew for emotional support while I give this speech. Yeah, we had lots of amazing events. Thank you so much to everyone who joined and also helped promote on Twitter if you weren't there in person. They were all a really great success. It was super fun to be there and meet this new community. Yeah, it was definitely a new market for us. Korea is a new space for us. So we definitely learned a lot. On my end, I learned that Koreans love swag so much and love extra large baggy shirts. So I'll keep that in mind for next time. But we obviously learned a lot more than that. Charles and Ben, two of our co-founders, had a lot of really good chats out there. So that was really successful for them. The brewery plushies were obviously a really big hit too. So for our events, the first event we had was a happy hour where we were able to first kind of get a feel for the Korean community. And that was really fun. Everyone really brought the energy. We co-hosted that one with Pukecast. Shout out to Puke. Those guys are amazing and so much fun. I think they're going to be posting a video recap of that event. Maybe they already did, but I think maybe it's coming out today or tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. That one's really fun. Also, Shawnee, who you guys know, who usually hosts these calls. Shawnee, aka Hank, has some really great overview videos of what we've done in Korea. So follow her on Twitter if you aren't already. On September 22nd, we had a really great Espresso Brews Cafe because, of course, we had to do something with coffee while we're there. That was really chill vibes. People were co-working and drinking coffee, obviously. We had a photo booth and some color matching. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. I'm a warm autumn, apparently. It just helps you, understand what colors to wear. That'll, make your skin look bright and make you look really good. So Shawnee is a spring. Charles also did it, our COO. You can see him getting it done in one of the pictures there on the slide, the bottom left. And then we had 2 days at the main event at KBW where we had a booth, and you can see Ben there. You can see me moving the boxes there. You can see Shawnee curling up and crying because it was so hectic. This is a joke. Shawnee obviously did a lot of work. We were both distributing swag and chatting with a lot of people and chatting with other teams that were there. It was Ben also did the panel. On the top right, you can see how strong he is doing this panel.
Yeah, he's up there with Uma from Succinct,
yeah,
and the founder of Polygon.
Yeah, and Sandeep from Polygon. I think there should be a recording of that soon. So if there's not already, keep an eye out for that. So that was really fun to be there at the main event. It was craziness, but super fun, and interesting to see just different dynamics of people in Korea. I have never seen so many people like bring their parents along to go to these different booths, different different audiences there in Korea. But it just shows how on-chain Korea is. So really exciting for us to be there. And then, of course, our last event was a karaoke because Koreans love karaoke, but the Espresso team also loves karaoke. At our offsites that we do, I try to bring everyone to do karaoke every time we all get together. So it's very on brand for us and also for Korea. That was really fun. We had shout out to, if there's anyone here that sang at that event, shout out to you. Please write something in the comments. You did amazing. There were at least like 30 people who sang songs. So that was super fun. No one sang Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, which actually surprised me. Next time, a note for next time. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for my recap. It was really fun. I don't know if I missed anything in these photos we have here. Lots of coffee, lots of chatting, lots of swag. Thanks so much to everyone who we got to meet and interact with.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great, entrance into Korea for us in the Espresso team. We had a few Espresso articles, Korean language articles about Espresso come out, and we'll have some additional stuff going on in Korea. Don't we have a meetup coming up, Avery, in Seoul?
Another meetup in Seoul? Yeah, we should. We're planning something for around November. We haven't locked in the dates yet, but like 3rd, 4th, 5th of November. Shawnee and I are going to be back in the country. We are so back, and we'll host another few events, so that'll be really fun.
Cool. I wanted to just jump in. I forgot to thank and name the designer of the POAP for today's community call. As you know, we had a Discord contest, and we have a few winners. So we will be able to mint some POAPs at future community calls with these designs. But today's was created by Infatuated Simp that's their X handle. And unfortunately, I didn't put a picture of the POAP in the slide deck. I totally should have done that. But anyone who's minted, obviously, is now able to see the POAP. But it says Espresso Community Call, October 2025. And then there's a bunch of us in the kind of composable style, inspired by Cute Moon, who's one of our caffeinated creators. That this is Infatuated Simp getting kind of a nod to Q Moon's design. But anyway, that is. I just wanted to call out Infatuated Simp. Thank you for the design.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, next slide. Well, just wanted to give an update here. So mint.gg, people who are in Discord, and are on Twitter might have seen, but mint.gg is an app on ApeChain, which is an Espresso integrated chain. And our contest, mint.gg is allows you to build these kind of like digital rooms, and display your NFTs up on the wall, mint various items of decor. There's a special espresso kind of package that you can mint that gives you like an espresso bar and a coffee machine. And because you can put up your NFTs, you can put your composables up on the wall or other NFTs you own. You can also do cool stuff like put YouTube videos up on the wall or share a Spotify playlist that people can visit your room and play. So it's kind of a very cool app. It's very similar to like the Sims video game that you may remember if you're old enough. But this is on chain and right. And every transaction confirmed by Espresso, and the ApeChain team is always cooking up stuff. This is just one of their apps that they have. And so this contest, we're just encouraging people to design espresso themed rooms, and the best ones will receive a composable NFT as a prize. We have extended the contest. You may have seen through, I believe, tomorrow evening. So if you want to learn more and haven't already kind of entered, you can find all that information on our Discord.
So awesome. I've seen some of these designs that people have done on Twitter already, and they look so cool. Do you know how many people have designed their little homes? Do you have those numbers? Is that possible?
Oh gosh, off the top of my head, I know that we have definitely done. Let's see, I do have that. Yes, there has been 1,700 rooms.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
That's too many for me to look at, but the ones I have seen are amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. They're very cool and very customizable, so you can really kind of show off your own style, your own design. And the fact that it's, you can put up your NFTs is quite cool. Coming from me who loves NFTs. So.
Yeah. Have you designed one yet?
I've played around with it. I haven't designed one to enter into the contest though.
Okay. Cool. I know, because you'd have so many NFTs on your walls. It'd be very decorated.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. What's up? There's an update on the Caffeinated Creators Season 2, missions and bounties going on in the Discord. We've had lots of activity, and again, this is a initiative that Shawnee leads. She's not here at the moment to give additional updates, but people that are winning the missions and bounties, they get the Caffeinated Creator role on Discord, and so as you can see there, we've had over 1,000 submissions, and 10 plus people have earned the Caffeinated Creator role in our Discord, and that is very cool. And next community call, Shawnee will be on to provide some additional updates.
Yeah, well, we're keeping these missions and bounties going, so keep an eye out. Another community spotlight. Just wanted to showcase all these amazing people who are creating things for us. You guys have probably seen some of these on Twitter, but they're always so fun for us to put together here into a slide and showcase to everyone else. Mo, who we have been interacting with for a while. We love you. Always love the designs you do.
I like the one of Shawnee in the boxes in the stairwell.
I know. I haven't seen that one yet, but that's amazing.
I haven't either, and I don't play the drums, but I like cute moves image up there. And I do need to shout out Crypto Cobra. Totally, your video needs to get up here, and we'll put that on the next one.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. Someone should make this one of Shawnee like a Renaissance painting. That's what I'm imagining, like someone just like so delicately lying on boxes. And then, of course, Nabi. Yeah. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the muscles nails it every time.
Yeah, every year looking good there.
Yeah, that's why I can lift all these boxes. It's not a problem for me. Thanks so much, everyone, for all of that. Okay, so next up, just a small sneak peek into DevConnect. I won't take up too much more of everyone's time, but you guys are seeing it here first, these designs that we've created for our booth that we're going to be doing at DevConnect. So DevConnect is going to be more of an Ethereum World's Fair in this huge space called La Rural in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Whit and I will both be there. We'll have a few other team members there. Jill's going to be there. Shawnee's going to be there, of course. And we'll have a few other team members there at this booth. And it's designed beautifully by our designers. So I wanted to show you guys just a little sneak peek of what it's going to look like. We're kind of hoping to bring in some of the Argentinian design flair into that. And of course, everyone loves football. So we've continued these Ethereum United jerseys. And this is our newest design for that. You guys are seeing it here first. Very exciting.
Incorporating Argentinian colors, which is very apropos.
Of course.
We're going to have to. This will be the first time we actually have a big kind of booth at DevConnect or DevCon. So it'll be a very fun time, and we'll probably do our usual side events too, and espresso brews, and you'll all definitely see us around Buenos Aires. And
so these dates are November 17th through the 22nd, I believe, just so if anyone's going to be there. We'll be there like almost a full week. So hope to see you guys there. But if you don't come to the World's Fair, we'll definitely be doing side events like we normally do. Hopefully one or two that that you can join. Should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, and I think, I mean, I do believe we'll be involved in the ETH Global Hackathon going on at DevConnect as well, but we will provide more details on the next community call about that.
Correct.
Closing thought, we only have a few more minutes. Avery, were there questions that you had saved that we needed to address? Or
yeah, if there's anything that hasn't been addressed yet, feel free to look through there. Thanks everyone for all your questions.
Update on ApeChain Cello. I think we got that. Cello will be coming Q4. My background is very relaxing. Thank you, Kenshin. Espresso only for L2. How about L1? Funny you should mention that. We have been talking to L1s about Espresso, and that is a use case that we don't talk about a lot, but absolutely. I won't get into the technical depth of it right now. I just don't have time, but we will. I'll just put a pin in that and maybe address it in a tweet or blog post coming up later. Espresso ambassador in Turkey. That's a Shawnee question. I'll get back to you.
I think some of these questions that you're seeing are from last week, actually, which is strange.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have different ones starred here.
Weird. Okay, well, maybe I will stop reading those then.
I have, just a few really good technical ones here. Maybe I can just bring them up on the screen for you to see.
Oh, yeah. I mean, any transaction that is happening on a chain integrated with Espresso is is reflected on the block explorer. I mean, it's that's what Espresso does. It provides the fast confirmations for transactions on rollups. So rollup, it has its sequencer, sequences, orders the transactions, and immediately sends the block to Espresso, and Espresso's validators confirm that block. And then, the rollups batch poster will, batches those all, together, and eventually, ships those off to Ethereum if it's an L2, or Arbitrum 1, for instance, if it's an L3. So every transaction going on these rollups is also confirmed by Espresso. Anyway, next, some activity with ApeChain. I think something we've done. Yeah, well, we addressed that a little bit. Jill and Spencer talked about the cross-chain bridgeless minting demo that we've got cooking, which will be ready to go. I don't know if they threw out a date, but hopefully, definitely before DevConnect. I'm just going to say that.
Yep. This one is interesting as well.
Yeah. Okay. So it how long does it take? I mean, it's dependent on a few things. I mean, pretty simple vanilla chains that don't have a lot of customizations, right now that use the Arbitrum Nitro stack, are fairly simple. And we work with Caldera, as an example, the RAS provider of that rollup, and we can integrate pretty easily. But every customization that chain has, or other, depending on maybe if it has an existing DEA solution that it wants to continue that we haven't integrated with, all those customizations add up. And so the integration takes a little bit longer. And also because these are all kind of new from we're doing all these integrations for the first time. Obviously it gets easier over time once we have done that. So we know, how to handle each of these customizations so they're not, presenting new problems every time. And so while it's taking a little bit longer here at the beginning, it won't always be that long. And on the roadmap for 2026, we do have an SDK planned to make it very simple for rollups to permissionlessly integrate. So we don't have, so the team at Espresso Systems does not have to be, manually doing all these integrations themselves.
Awesome. Thanks for that. There was one more. Just last one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we rewards or collabs. I mean, we talked about obviously the mint.gg contest. That's a collab kind of contest with ApeChain. Bridge was minting with ApeChain and RariChain. I was on a call with marketing team from NodeOps network the other day, cooking up maybe some collab around some interesting stuff they have got going on. It'll be more focused on devs in the community. And we're always looking for other, opportunities to collab with our partner chains. And so there will be more in the works, but nothing I can talk about publicly right now.
Cool.
So I think that will about wrap it up for community call number 7. Thank you.
That's pretty much it. Thank you so much, everyone. And keep an eye out for the giveaway for one of these plushies. I will personally ship it to you wherever you are. There might be some extra swag included in there.
Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna ship one anywhere in the world, and it'll be watch the Twitter sphere, crypto Twitter. Watch our account for that information. Thanks you so much,
everyone. Have a good night, morning, day. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.